Okay, that's right.
From the river to the sea.
Everybody downstairs, please. Guys, everyone with the banners also, can you please make your way down the steps? Banners also, please. You can please cooperate. You can please cooperate. It's very important because we do have speakers. We do have a message. If everybody can make their way down the steps. Free! free!
Palestine!
Free, free!
Palestine!
Free, free!
From the river to the sea! Free, free!
Right at the edge of there, Jerry.
Free, free!
Sorry, excuse me. Sorry. Sorry.
Palestine! Palestine! From the river to the sea! Palestine will be free! From the river to the sea! Palestine will be free! Palestine! From the river to the sea!
Israel, you will fire. Let the love and the glory to jail. As long as you're ready, please stand up. You want to move. Raise the pieces. Tell your ruler now.
Biset!
Lola, you will break the fence.
The media live! You say a child in Palestine died. Every time the media lies! Every time the media lies! Every time the media lies, a child in Palestine dies. Every time the media lies. 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 Free, free! Free, free! Free, free! From the river to the sea! Free, free! While we are waiting for the first speaker to come along,
Nice to see you too.
how's it
I thought you were going to be speaking.
I think today you must have heard the news that over 31 Palestinians were killed as they were seeking food in the Bible. They were told to go to a location, and when they arrived there, the Israeli army opened fire on them, and 31 of them.
Everyone just listen. Please move forward. Just move a bit forward here. Move away from the road. Or move back towards our little pavement. Just a little bit forward. So, you know, in the road. And also the vehicles there. You'll probably just move properly. Properly slow. You not stand in the middle of the road. You know, if you're blocking the road, over to the pavement. On this side, on the opposite end. Properly go. Thank you very much.
Where's the hurry up.
One, mic check. Can everybody hear me at the back? Is it breaking off? Okay. As we get organized, please be patient. There is a program of speakers that we have. There is a message and there is a reason why we are here. As we set up, please just bear with us. We didn't expect so many people, so we're just organizing ourselves. Thank you.
Free, free! Free, free! I think we're just setting up, so what I've got to announce is next Sunday, which is going to be the 8th of June, there's going to be a protest outside Lidl in Balsall Heath between 1 and 2 o'clock. If you can join us there, please do so. Free, free! Free, free! Can you hear us? Free, free!
One, two, mic check. Can everybody hear me? Free, free! Free, free! Free, free! Right, this peaceful protest has been organized by the activist independent movement. Our ethos is to stay on the streets and keep marching for Palestine. We are here to be the voice for Palestine. First of all, I want to thank every single one of you for coming out today. You have been absolutely magnificent. We've had some really, really big numbers as we started from Victoria Park and reached into the Mailbox. and it's been an absolutely brilliant march. I want to thank all the volunteers with the high-vis jackets that have supported the march to keep everybody safe. There are many groups here from the north, from Wakefield, from London. Lots of students are here, our representatives. The drummers, we mustn't forget our drummers. The drummers have been absolutely fantastic. Also the people that have been carrying the flag. The flag is very, very heavy and it requires a lot of effort. We mustn't forget our children because we've had lots of our children out. Can you give a special round of applause for our children? Because it is the children, it is their future. They are the ones that are standing up for Palestine, so they must be commended. So once again, big shout out to the children. Please carry on to being the voice for Palestine. Keep speaking about Palestine. We must keep this going. This movement is the biggest that this country has ever seen, and Birmingham is playing its part. More than 600 days, more than 600 days. Today we mark the Nakba 77 years of occupation, 77 years of ethnic cleansing, 77 years of death, 77 years of destruction, 77 years of devastation, 77 years of the genocide, 77 of the genocide. More than 6 million Palestinian refugees around the world, around the region, 14 million in total, the Palestinian population, but they are being persecuted, they are being oppressed, not only in Gaza, but in the West Bank also, and they are bombing Syria, Lebanon, and Yemen. The Zionists are out of control. So today, we, the people of Birmingham, are marking Nakba 77, which is referred to as the catastrophe. The catastrophe for the people of Palestine who were displaced, who were forced out, who were killed. Many lost their lives in the catastrophe and many were displaced. To this day, the Palestinians have the key to their ancestral home. It is their symbol and they keep it today wherever they are in the world. Many around the world still hold that key and they want the right to return and the right to self-determination. Right, there are a list of organisers, there are a list of speakers that we have. We request the speakers to make their way onto the steps and they will give their message. They will give their message today also. Can I invite our first speaker is Majid Freeman. He's a community activist, a very strong voice in Leicester, in the East Midlands, who has been extremely active in the Palestinian arena. He has been quite recently, he has been charged with terrorism and he faces 13 charges. In September, he will be on trial for terrorism on 13 charges. We ask you to support Majid Freeman because he is a voice. They are trying to silence the voice and Majid Freeman is our voice. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, the people of Palestine, please give it up for Majid Freeman.
Loudly, brother, loudly.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Brothers and sisters, friends of justice and comrades, I stand before you today with a heavy heart as the genocide in Gaza continues before our very eyes. Bombs keep falling, the children keep dying, and the world stays silent, but not Birmingham. Thank you to Birmingham for standing up today. But we cannot stay silent. We must raise our voices. We must stand up. Let me tell you the truth. The weapons killing innocent people in Gaza, in Pakistan, in Yemen, and in Sudan, they're not falling from the sky by accident. They are made, they are sold, and used with full knowledge for the destruction that they cause. Right here in the UK, we have UAV engines limited in Shenston, just half an hour away from here. The power of Elbit systems, they manufacture engines for drones used by Israeli military to bomb Gaza. These same drones were also used and sold. They were used by India just last month to attack Pakistan. This is British complicity and it's deadly. And these bombs, these drones, they're manufactured 30 minutes away from here. We need to shut these factories down. Activists have already shut down 3 Elbit factories in the UK. Let's give them a huge round of applause. And I need to be clear. I, Majid Freeman, I'm facing terrorism charges. This government is trying to silence me. And in silencing me, they hope they can silence you. This is about all of us. If they silence me today, they'll come for you tomorrow. But let me tell you this, we will not be silenced. I repeat, we will not be silenced. Will we be intimidated? No, we will not. Will we stop speaking out against the genocide? No! The truth is this, the UK is helping Israel kill Palestinians. Whilst the Foreign Minister David Lammy claims to suspend trade deals, British spy planes continued flying over Israel, flying over Gaza, and they were giving the intelligence to the Israeli military so they can continue the massacre and the genocide. That's who should be in the Hague. David Lammy should be in the Hague. Starmer should be in the Hague. Shame on David Lammy. Shame! Shame on Starmer. Shame! Those who leave from the UK, the British Israelis who go to fight in the Israeli IDF and who commit genocide, who partake in this genocide, they're the ones who should be going to prison. Not me or not you or those who are speaking up for the speaking up for the oppressed and those who are being killed in this genocide. That's why we're here today, not just to shout, but to act. Petitions are not enough. Marches are not enough. We need boycotts, protests, divestments. We need to stop the war machine. Let us demand, shut down UAV engines, shut down Elbit, end arms sales to Israel, end the genocide in Gaza. Every single one of us here has a role to play. If you are a student, organize your campus. If you're a worker, organize your workplace. If you're a trade unionist, demand your union cut ties with the apartheid Israel. If you're a healthcare worker, speak up for your healthcare workers in Gaza. Why is it that there's only a handful of healthcare workers speaking out? What about the rest of us? If you're a journalist, a teacher, an influencer, or whoever you may be, use your voice. This is not the time for silence. Silence is complicity. Let me end by saying this. Gaza is the front line of the struggle for justice, for freedom, for humanity itself. When we stand with Gaza, we stand with every mother who cradles her martyred child, every father digging through rubble, every child left alone after losing their family members. Enough of the silence, enough of the complicity, enough of the lies. Gaza's spirit is stronger than the armies of the world. And we will stand with Gaza until victory is achieved and all of Palestine is free. Free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine! Thank you. Jazakallah khair.
Thank you so much, Majid Freeman. Once again, Majid Freeman, a community activist, a big voice for Palestine. His trial starts in September. It's very important that we support Majid in his case. There will be protests every single day at the Crown Court in Birmingham. Please do get involved. Part of this action, part of this protest, we are also highlighting the BBC, the British Broadcasting complicity, because it is not fair reporting, it is not honest reporting, because the BBC lies and a child dies, a village dies. It's their complicity, it's the continuation. They are saying that the thief is the victim and the victim is the aggressor. We must call out the BBC. BBC, shame, shame! BBC! 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 Shame, shame! BBC! Shame, shame! BBC! Shame, shame! So every time we come here, we are sending a message and we are saying that the British public are sick and tired for this establishment that is giving the wrong narrative, the false narrative, that is not being impartial and being honest. We will continue to stay on the streets and we will continue to come outside, because behind us we have the journalists in there, also people, there are whistleblowers that are saying that they have been told not to press the Palestinian issue. This is extremely wrong. And we also know that the BBC have got it wrong. They got it wrong with Jimmy Savile. They got it wrong with Jonathan King, with Rolf Harris, Gary Glitter, and they definitely have got it wrong for Israel. They've got it wrong for Israel. And also, you may be familiar, the big strong voice is Gary Lineker. So can we give a big shout out to Gary Lineker? Let's some noise for Gary Lineker. We did invite Gary Lineker to come out and join us in this protest. I think he must be on a sabbatical, probably somewhere resting, trying to re-energize and to continue to be in the voice. So please continue supporting the likes of Gary Lineker, because there are people out there, they are speaking up. Lots and lots of people are speaking up. So once again, big massive shout out to Gary Lineker. Yay! Right, our next speaker.
Assalamu alaikum, Birmingham. How you doing? Are you all tired? Yes, our marches are long. I do not apologize for that. You have to feel what the people from Gaza feel when they have to march from north of Gaza all the way to Rafah. So you have to understand, that's why we do these long marches. I don't want to take too much of your time. I want to introduce you to our next sister, who is a rebel with the cause. You all know her, she's been here before on January 25th. Her name is Khalima, the Labour whistleblower. She's the former Investigations Governance Officer and chair of the BME staff under Starmer and Corbyn in 2019 and 2022. She stood up as an independent MP for Stratford and Bow in G24 in July 2024 general election. So make a round of applause for Khalima.
Assalamu alaikum, everybody. It's so good to see everyone here today, and it's fantastic to be back with the activist independent movement. Now, when I came here a couple of months ago, I left with a message. Today, as we stand here together, we've got 11 months until the next council election. I see in front of me power, rage and passion, and if we do not, as this group of individuals who are all connected by a shared cause which goes beyond Palestine, we are a working class struggle here united, fighting for working class people across the world. Until we start organizing our own councillors, we will always be defeated. We will be defeated by Reform and the Labour Party, and we will be with Zionists once more. We've got 11 months, and what I ask you guys is to have a think about who we're standing in our local wards up and down this country. Now, when we hear Keir Starmer and David Lammy lie to us that they care about what's happening to the Palestinians in Gaza, remember, these people are very intelligent with their language. They are very specific when they criticize the Netanyahu government instead of Zionism, instead of the cancer that is the state of Israel and its mentality that it enforces globally. So what are they saying when they say Netanyahu's government? It is the liberal, quote-unquote, liberal Zionists that want to disassociate from what they call the far-right Zionists. But what we know is that it's just atheist Zionists that are trying to step away from messianic Zionism. Netanyahu is a figure who does believe he is going to bring forth the Messiah, which is kind of hilarious because he is Satan himself. So, what does that mean for us? That means for us as a people that we need to stay and pay close attention to what the journalists are saying now and read between the lines. 20 months is too late for you to start caring about dead children. 20 months is far too late to say you care when you turned a blind eye. So we reject them and we hate them for everything that they are. And why I brought up liberal Zionism, atheist Zionism, the one that say that actually we are a country that's full of all races in Israel. The reason why I bring up liberal Zionism is that the far right in this country who are racist towards people like me, we have far more in common with them than we do with any Zionist of any form. We have far more to fight for with them than against them, because the Zionists are telling us they are our enemies. So I'll leave you with that thought, and I want you to please start communicating with your community, because national identities is not working. Nationalism is dying globally. So the only way we defeat the powers is with our community. Thank you very much.
Wow, big massive shout out to Khalima, very, very powerful words. Very, very powerful words. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, shout out to Khalima Khan all the way from London. She's a big, massive voice, and as you can appreciate, our movement is very diverse, and we certainly have lots of people like Khalima in the movement. We do have another speaker who's also a very strong voice, who speaks up on many, many protests in London in particular, and his topic is actually quite profound. And just before I was actually coming to the march, I was just doing a bit of research. Now, the likes of, there's a guy called Yitzhak Amir who actually assassinated Yitzhak Rabin. He was a extremist, a Zionist extremist, a terrorist who killed Rabin in 1995. And there was Goldstein, who came from America, and he killed 29 people in Hebron. So there is extremism in the Zionist, broad extremism, but then we had the likes of Smotrich and Ben Gvir, because when they joined the far-right government, we knew then that they weren't going to stop. And if you knew the background, and I'm sure Tony will touch on this, Ben Gvir and Smotrich have continuously pressed for violence and the killing of Palestinians and Arabs and Muslims. How can you have people like them in the government of Israel when they say they are a democratic country, and you have the far-right extremist nationalist people that promote violence and hate? And they also have quite recently, Ben Gvir in particular, he desecrated the grounds of Al-Aqsa, which is very holy for the Muslims around the world in the Holy Land. So we must call it out. Ladies and gentlemen, Tony Greenstein.
Thank you, comrades, and thank you for inviting me to this wonderful demonstration. Can everybody hear me? Right, thank you. It's been 20 months now of the genocide in Gaza. Israel's attack, not as the BBC and others would say, on Hamas, because Hamas are underground in the tunnels. It's been an attack on the civilian population. Babies, children, women, anyone. They say that they're attacking Hamas command and control centers. If you're to believe that, then every single hospital, every single school, every single place that people meet, every club, every library, are a Hamas command and control center. Even the reservoirs and the places where you collect water have been destroyed. I presume that Hamas doesn't hide inside reservoirs. So I think we can take it for granted that what Israel is doing is what Israelis are saying. People like not just Smotrich, but Shalom Okahi, Nissim Vaturi, the Deputy Speaker of the Knesset, when they say we want to burn and destroy Gaza, they mean it. And when Keir Starmer and David Lammy say that there is no genocide, they are no different from members of the British National Party and the National Front who deny there was a Holocaust either. They are Holocaust deniers, but the Holocaust this time is in Gaza. It's not in Germany or Poland. But there really is no difference. I've written a book, Zionism During the Holocaust, which points out the similarities between the Zionists and the Nazis. The first similarity is the 3-month blockade on food entering Gaza. It is starvation by hunger, but it is starvation. The policy of the Nazis, Hans Frank, who was the Governor General of Nazi-occupied Poland, was death by hunger to the Jewish ghettos like Warsaw. You may not know it, but 20% of those who died in the Warsaw ghetto died of hunger. When Israel deliberately starves the people of Gaza, they're behaving no differently from the way the Nazis behaved towards the Jews in Europe 90 years ago. That is the measure of what Israel is doing today. And there are many other similarities. They took a poll from the Pennsylvania State University only last week. 47% of Israeli Jews want to kill every single Palestinian in Gaza. In other words, to exterminate. And where was the idea of extermination originate? Well, that was the policy, of course, of Hitler and the Nazis in the final solution. And that is why at a Palestine Expo meeting in 2019, when I was asked, I said that Israel is Hitler's bastard offspring. But I did not, and it was printed a full page in the Jewish Chronicle. And of course they were outraged that anyone could say such a thing. But can anyone today seriously say, when they bomb children, when they kill people like that 11-year-old influencer last week who was bombed with a family sleeping in a rubble house anyway, can anyone say they are no different, they are any different from what the Nazis did? The Nazis, in fact, experimented with exterminating people with explosives. They just found it was too difficult and messy. If they'd had Donald Trump's £2,000 bombs, I suspect they may have changed their mind. But the attitude of the Israeli state to the Palestinians is absolutely no different from that of the Nazis towards the Jews. And it's not much wonder, because Zionism was always the most reactionary solution to what was called the Jewish question. In fact, Zionism was not a Jewish idea. Zionism came from the Christian Zionists who wanted a Jewish state to protect the interests of the West. When the Board of Deputies of Jews in 1842 was approached to support the idea of a Jewish so-called return, they rejected it because those who said we should go to Palestine were saying we abandon the fight against anti-Semitism. And in Poland, the largest Jewish community in the world then, of 3 million people, the overwhelming majority supported the Bund, which was an anti-Zionist Jewish party, not the Zionists, because the Zionists accepted the framework of anti-Semitism. The anti-Semites said, Jews do not belong, and the Zionists said, yes, we agree. There is a symmetry between Zionism and anti-Semitism, which is why today, if you look around, who is it who supports the state of Israel and Zionism? It's Tommy Robinson, it's Viktor Orban, it's Steve Bannon, it's Donald Trump, it's Geert Wilders, all the racists who would have 100 years ago been on the side of the anti-Semites are now ardent fanatics for Zionism, because they see in Zionism the fulfillment of their own quest, which is for an ethno-national state. And I want to say a few more words, because you are often called anti-Semitic if you so much as breathe a word of support for Palestine. But of course, it's a different form of anti-Semitism. It's not hatred of Jews or hostility to them, but it's hostility and hatred of Zionism as an ethno-nationalist philosophy and movement. And I want to say that it is not anti-Semitic to oppose Zionism. Indeed, historically, Most Jews did. You will probably have heard of the Balfour Declaration in 1917, where Britain gave the land of the Palestine to the Zionists. It was approved by the Lloyd George War Cabinet, which was ruling Britain at the time in 1917. The only member of that cabinet to oppose the Balfour Declaration was its only Jewish member, Sir Edwin Montagu. So when people conflate Zionism and being Jewish, you have to tell them that no, they're two very separate entities. And in 1933, when Hitler came to power, the only section of the Jewish community which welcomed him to power was the Zionists, because they saw a golden opportunity to build their state. Hitler, in many ways, built the Israeli state because he pushed out so many people, so many Jews who had nowhere else to go, that they went to Palestine. But for Hitler, there may well not have been a Zionist state in the first place. But today, when Starmer and Rahme profess they're upset at the fact that children are starving and people are starving in Gaza and the number of casualties, we have to say we don't accept your fake and crocodile tears. If you really mean what you say, then stop the supply of weaponry and arms to Israel. That is the only thing that counts. Cut the trade, impose sanctions, do what you do to Russia. And if you don't do it, then you are hypocrites and you're no better than the worst war criminals, because the reality is that today we are ruled by war criminals, Keir Starmer, Rahme and the rest of it. I'll wind up now because I don't want to take much time and there's many other people to speak, but thank you very much for coming here today and listening to me. Thank you.
Brothers and sisters, a big shout out to Tony Greenstein. As the message Tony is giving, it is not Judaism, it is Zionism. We have many, many people of the Jewish faith who are standing up for the rights of the people of Palestine. There are many, many Jews in the anti-Zionist movement. But one thing what Tony is saying, that Zionism is actually far worse than Nazism. They have been found out and they will be called out, and more people are calling out, and you will be familiar that the Irish government have officially claimed that it is a genocide. So the official stance of the Irish government is that this is a genocide. So they will be called out, they will be found out, and one thing we do know, that we are on the right side of history and we will be proven right. Free, free! Free, 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 in our thousands, in our millions. Right, brothers and sisters, we do have slightly different from speeches. We have some poetry at the back, and a sister is actually now going to give her a few words. If you turn to the back of the screen, and I'd like to introduce Shah, who will say a few words, very powerful words.
Free, free! Welcome! So today, we're gathered here. I want to feel the energy. I'm coming here to perform some poetry. It's based on lectures and conversations that I've had with an artist in Gaza. She's a friend of mine. She's absolutely amazing. And this kind and lovely gentleman by the name of Tariq will be accompanying me with some soundscapes. So we shall begin. Where do you want me to go? Ahead is hell on earth. Behind me, my memories drawn in blood. My eardrums bleed from piercing screams. Drones, hums. Why us? won't death arrive and come to us? Why isn't death taking me as it has for those I love in this new world order where currency is our blood? Everything is destroyed, suffocated, starved, burnt. My senses are stunned. The heart still pulsating. What have we not seen with our eyes when humanity is at its low? There is hope amidst fake QR codes and bombed safe zones. Now, there is just this space between fire and blood. My sister, she said, pray for me. I opened up my eyes and everything changed overnight. We shared our hearts, they destroyed our lives. There's no remorse. The hearts are sealed closed. My milk has dried. They've stolen my child. There's no place to hide. Can't you hear our cries? Terror in hand. Oh, that rabbi found it. No church bells to hear. They replaced them with fear. There's no call to prayer. Nothing left in this space. She said, pray for me. Pray for me in the day and the night, till I am free. Pray for me. My heart can beat on with Allah's grace. My soul will live on with Allah's grace. Nothing left in this space, just His mercy. our children will rise with a last grace. She said, pray for me in the day, in the night, till I am free. Pray for me in the day, in the night. Pray for me till I am free. Pray for me till I am free. Pray for me. Pray for me. Pray for me till I'm free. Subhanallah. Free, free. Over to Brother Arif. Thank you for listening, everybody. Let's keep the energy going and let's keep pushing forward for humanity and for peace for everyone in all corners of this beautiful, amazing planet. Let's stop the oppression. Thank you, Jazakallah khair.
Right, can you please give it up for Shah? The message in this is, in my heart is Palestine. And the message is never again. Very, very powerful words with music, poetry. We must keep on going, we must keep on giving the message. I want to now introduce you to a very young activist who's very, very powerful voice, who's a student, who has been very active in the student movement, in the encampments in London for the School of Oriental African Studies. They have a liberated zone and they were persecuted, and lots of Zionists came and tried to use violence. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, give it up for Haya Adam.
Free, free! Louder, louder! Free, free! Free, free! If liberty means anything at all, it means the right to tell people what they do not want to hear. These words were written by George Orwell, engraved within the walls outside the BBC headquarters in London. Within the quote, George Orwell wrote it with the intention that without challenging prevailing norms or the status quo, that society is at risk of tyranny and stagnation. The real test of liberty is whether society protects the rights of those who express dissenting or stand for justice. We know where the BBC's loyalties lie. They lie with genocide and the suffering of our Palestinian brothers and sisters. They lie with the state who upholds settler colonialism. They lie with protecting Zionist interests. Shame! Let us remember that the same institution that has this engraved in their walls is the same institution that banned a documentary on its platform by a little boy in Gaza sharing his experiences during genocide. Let us remember that this is the same institution that reports on Palestinians being murdered as fatalities whilst IOF soldiers are killed in action. Let us remember that this is the same institution that reports on airstrikes yet omits who actually drops those bombs. And And let us remember that this is the same institution that reduces the murder of Palestinians to numbers in a footnote. It's easy to speak about the work that we're doing to try to help and to try to fight alongside our Palestinian brothers and sisters. But it's impossible to describe the horrors of the past 20 months. What do you say after 20 months? What is there left to say? 20 months and 77 years. The Nakba was not a chapter closed in 1948. It was one of the opening lines in a story of pain, grief, ongoing settler colonialism, resistance and unyielding spirit. A story still being written. Because the grandfather that was born in a tent in 1948 has passed on the keys to their home to their children as they wait in a tent now in Gaza to return home. Story after story, massacre after massacre. Just yesterday, the Zionist entity shoots and killed 31 Palestinians whilst they were seeking food from aid coming through. A few days ago, Dr. Ala al-Najjar lost 9 of her children. 5-year-old Ward Khalil was sheltering in a UN school before she was surrounded by flames and was the only survivor from her family. I stand here today with my comrades from the SOAS Liberated Zone from London, and we are proud to be amongst all of our comrades in Birmingham. The creation of the Liberated Zone and its sustainment is a testament to our role that we have to play within our institutions. It is a testament that we have to rewrite our education and decolonize it to serve its true purpose, to serve the people. It is a testament that we must act with our education, but most importantly, it is a testament that we should always be grounded in everything we do, and that is centering our Palestinian brothers and sisters. A degree should not just be simply a piece of paper to you. It is not just ink on a page, nor a photo opportunity in a cap or gown. It is a promise, it is a responsibility, it is a tool. Because if all it amounts to is a title on a resume or a frame on your wall, then we have failed. Not just ourselves, but the world that desperately needs us. The people of Palestine that need us to speak up. Our demands at SOAS have not yet been met. We are sick and tired of the partnership SOAS continues to hold with Haifa University, which is built on colonized Palestinian land. We are sick and tired of the tuition fees that are being poured into companies profiting from Palestinian blood, of the false lies SOAS upholds about scholarships and their commitment to rebuilding higher education in Gaza, yet denying our friend from Ramallah last year a scholarship and seeing no progress. And this is the same across all universities, including the hypocritical University of Birmingham and all universities here. SOAS are expelling, suspending and targeting students who are protesting against genocide. They are making examples out of students to try to intimidate the rest of the student body. But their repression makes one thing evident, that they are the ones intimidated by us, because their efforts to silence us actually means that our pressure is working. So we must continue to highlight the hypocrisy of SOAS, but to also highlight and expose British complicity. We must continue to hold the state accountable, the system that is designed to serve empire, to silence dissent, and to help the massacre of Palestinians with a smile. In October of 2023, as the genocide began to unfold, Keir Starmer claimed the Zionist entity had a right to cut access to food, electricity, and water in Gaza. Shame! He further went on to disregard a ceasefire vote and continues to this day to send parts and arms to the illegitimate colonial entity, propping up the settler colonial project that was manufactured by the British state when in 1917 they signed off land that was never theirs to give in the first place. Shame! The massacre of the Palestinians has revealed the true face of these Western powers. We, living in the West, see firsthand how we are also colonized by capitalist and imperialist forces that exploit people. We see how the BBC is a vital tool in upholding and maintaining Western imperialism as they glorify the perpetrators perpetrators of genocide, who imprison those like the Filton 18 who take direct action to stop the machinery of genocide. Shame! If you allow yourself or you consider yourself to be a person of conscience yet still allow your apathy to make you stay neutral, then you have lost all ounce of your humanity. Palestinians don't need your pity, they don't need your passiveness, they need every ounce of your courage and fight. Our martyrs, our sons, daughters, grandparents, mothers and fathers are not gone. They live in the stones of Al-Quds, in the olive trees of Al-Khalil, the orange trees of Jaffa, in the rubble of Gaza that refuses to bow. Your dreams to the martyrs are planted in every child who still dares to smile, in Nablus, in Rafah, in Jenin. We carry your legacy with sacred duty. The martyrs are the heartbeat of the land. To the BBC, if liberty means anything at all, it means the right to tell people what they do not want to hear. When journalism serves power more than truth, such a quote is not a tribute, it's a warning. Thank you so much.
Free, free!
Free, free! Once again. Free, free!
It is very, very important that you support the students who are being persecuted on campuses, in the liberated zones, in the encampments. Haya is actually facing expulsion from university. She is putting her future on the line. She has been suspended, she's on the verge of being expelled. This is her future. We must speak up for and support the likes of Haya. So ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, can you give a big shout out to Haya, who's come all the way from London. The next speaker needs no introduction because he's all the way from London, Glyn Secker, for the Labour Jewish...
It's gone, is it? Hang on, sorry.
We always have backup. Right, Glyn Secker is our next speaker, who's very kindly come all the way from London, and he has a profound message for you. Free, free! Free, free! Free, free! He's not going to sing, by the way.
Thank you very much. Read my t-shirt. Jews against the war in Gaza. This was printed in 2014 when Gaza was being attacked all those years ago. There are no words anymore. Decades decrying abuse, a lexicon of a lifetime, and there are no words adequate to excoriate these acts by Israel. Frozen in the headlights, dumbstruck by the unbelievable, hoarse in voice, I scream into the void, not in my name. At school, just after the war, books passed around, described in detail the personal barbarity of the mechanized genocide. Uncomprehending of the horror, my parents were silent. No words were spoken. The unconscionable was in the past and abroad. Though I was born at its height, on the day of the 5th anniversary of Kristallnacht, I never learned their thoughts. And now, how has it come to this? Mechanized annihilation unleashed on civilians by new Jews with old rabbis, scripting an infanticide halakha in military yeshivas. You know the figures, but it's important you hear them from me, a Jew. Babies in intensive care units have the power cut. 900 babies, 2,000 toddlers murdered, thousands of amputees with no anesthetics, 17,000 orphans, a total of 18,000 children killed and rising day by day. Famine, weaponized, now in its 3rd month. The deliberate starvation of 2 million people, 60,000 children at risk of death. A calculated, programmed massacre of the innocents, driven by racism to be the ethnic majority. Children, fleshless, skin and bone,
and hollowed eyes echo the images of the concentration camps, etched deep in my mind in my formative years. Thousands, including medical staff, detained without charge, beaten and tortured, many to death. How's it come to this? Well, the seeds were sown at its conception by its founding father Herzl. In Judenstadt he wrote, "Declare a country of beasts, we should not take lance or spear, but drive the animals together and throw in a gelignite bomb." Weiss, the head of the Jewish agency, responsible for the settlements. There is no other way than to transfer the Arabs. Not one village, not one tribe should be left. Ben-Gurion, the first prime minister, to the army. The cleansing of Palestine remains the objective. Weizmann, president of the World Zionist Organization. There is a fundamental difference in quality between Jew and native. Israeli Zionism is founded on deep racism, superiority and territorialism. Essential to its construction of Jewish identity of the new Jew is an enemy to be subjugated. During my youth and Israel's youth in the 1950s and 60s, it was shrouded by a cloak of socialism and humanism. But the process of oppression created resistance by the oppressed and generated a self-fulfilling existential threat. And thus the story of the Amaleks takes center stage, with Netanyahu televised, reading it to his army. Infanticide becomes ineluctable. The raising of hospitals, the assassination of doctors becomes an iron logic. And the chief rabbi, unblinking on national media, with no reference to Gaza, promotes Hanukkah, the festival of light, as the flickering flame of humanity and a light unto the world. A rabbinical banishment of humanity in Gaza. Well, if this is the light unto nations, I am not a Jew. If this is Jewish identity, I am not a Jew because I am a Jew for justice. I am a Jew against genocide, all genocides. I stand proud, speaking for Jews for justice for Palestinians, Jewish Voice for Labour, and the 8 groups of the Jewish bloc on the national demonstrations. Proud to stand in solidarity with Jewish Voice for Peace in the States, with its 32,000 anti-Zionist members, and with the 24 international Jewish groups of global Jews for justice for Palestine. We come from a proud tradition of Jewish socialism. The Bund, the Union of Jewish Workers, played a leading role in the Russian revolutions and warned a century ago that a Jewish ethno-nationalist state in Palestine would reproduce the very racism it sought to evade. And by God were they right. For evil to triumph, the good need only stand by in silence. So the deafening silence of the BBC Verify, which dares not name the genocide, verifies its own complicity, as do the sealed lips of the human rights lawyer Starmer. On October the 7th, a crime against humanity was committed, but to understand it, we must learn from the slave rebellions. Haiti, 1791, Nat Turner, 1831, India, 1857, the Kenya Mau Mau, the 1950s, Algeria, 1962, where French, thousands, and British and American women and children and babies and the elderly were massacred. Yes, they were crimes against humanity, but no one deigns to describe them as acts of terrorism. They are understood as generated by the brutality of oppression and slavery for which France and Britain and white America bore responsibility. Herzl spelled out the Zionist purpose in Palestine. We should there form a portion of a rampart of Europe against Asia, an outpost of civilization opposed to barbarism. But what he created was the opposite, an outpost of barbarism opposed to civilization. Decades later, the American Secretary of State Haig proclaimed Israel is the largest American aircraft carrier in the world that cannot be sunk in a critical region for American national security. So the driving force is Western foreign policy, the control of oil and shipping routes and control of the region. Settler colonialism and Messianic Zionism are the weapons in the tool and their tool bag. As Guterres, United Nations General Secretary, said, the war on Gaza didn't start on the 7th of October. It started with the occupation. But you have to add to that the ethnic cleansing of 1948, again in 67, the massacre of Deir Yassin, and 19 more villages, Sabra and Shatila and Jenin, and the 17-year blockade and bombardment of Gaza, and the 17 failed peace talks. Yeah, October the 7th came out of 3/4 of a century of brutal repression, for which Israel, the United States and the UK bear responsibility. Mandela famously said that African freedom would not be complete without the freedom of the Palestinians. Well, this is profoundly true for Jews. For people who oppress another can never themselves be free. Oh, Palestine, I am numbed by indescribable pain. I shake with rage, and I salute your incredible samud. I too will never surrender, for we are two peoples with one future. We will never be free until you are free. From all of the river to all of the sea, we shall all be free. Solidarity!
Free, free! Free, free! Free, free! Free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine! Once again, we must call out the BBC for its complicity. If anybody is listening inside, this has been broadcast. We are here on quite a few live stream channels. Our message is very simple. The people of Palestine are being killed daily, again and again. Today, many people have lost their lives, and every single day that this goes on, more and more people will die. Enough. We say enough. Enough is enough. The people are restless. The people are tired. The people are saying, have mercy on us. They don't have food. They are starving. Now that they've introduced distribution aid centers, and people are walking towards those centers, and today we found that the Israeli tanks have killed many today, and many were injured. We must call them out, and the Jewish Voice for Labour is a big voice. Our movement is actually growing, and we will introduce you now to the next speaker.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. 1, 2. The next speaker, mashallah, I went to him and approached him a few weeks ago, and I say, Imam Sahib, many people say after the khutbah, when they come out, you ask them to go to the protest, they say the Imams don't come and support the protest. Then I urged him to come and support the protest, and he did. We also got to give a shout out to Sheikh Asrar Rashid. He also supported the Ulama block. We need the Ulama block. We need to grow this Ulama block. You know, like Ismail Patel did at the national demonstration, we're urging all scholars, everybody to come out and basically make the next national demonstration a big Ulama block. I'd like to introduce to you the one, 1, 2. Where's the other mic? I'd like to introduce to you to Imam Asim Hussain from Bradford. A round of applause for Mr. Imam Asim from Bradford.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وآله وأصحابه أجمعين. MashaAllah, it's good to see that hundreds of brothers and sisters earlier in the day came out in the numbers to stand alongside the Palestinian people against the injustice and oppression that's taking place there at this moment in time. We must know our history well, that it didn't start on that date, October the 7th, rather it's 77 years and counting since the Palestinian people have been oppressed. They have been tortured for simply claiming that this is where we live, knowing that this is where they live, being born in that land, for that land to be then taken over illegally be occupied by the forces that occupy it at this moment in time. Unfortunately, Western governments are complicit. They are complicit in what's happening there at this moment in time. Whether it was the Sykes-Picot Treaty, whether it was the Balfour Treaty, whether it was what happened thereafter through the UN, all of what is happening there is a result of the voices of those who have been speaking out being suppressed. And today the same is being done to suppress the voices of those who stand against injustice and oppression. Our religion teaches us that we must stand against this at all costs, even if it means that we go against those who are closest to us. If you see injustice, then you should speak out against this and stop this. We are going through the days of Hajj, and we know that a central character in the Hajj is Sayyidina Ibrahim, the Prophet Abraham. This was the prophet of the Jewish people. The Christians trace back to Sayyidina Ibrahim, and certainly the Muslims. He is Abul Anbiya, the father of all the Anbiya and prophets. Sayyidina Ibrahim, when he stood against the injustices that were taking place in his hometown, his people turned against him and threw him into the fire. As they threw him into the fire, there's a very famous story of the sparrow. That fire that was burning so high that any bird that went over this fire would be burned. So there was a sparrow that decided that I'm going to assist Ibrahim alayhi salam against this injustice. I'm going to do what I can to stop this from happening, to help the Prophet of God not to be burned in this fire. We know well that as he was thrown into the fire, Sayyidina Jibreel, the archangel, was sent, and it was said, "O fire, become peaceful and calm, become cold. Kuni bardan wa salaman ala Ibrahim." So the sparrow went and collected water in its very small beak. The fire was huge. It went and it started spitting water onto the fire. Later they asked the sparrow, "Why did you do this? Like, look at the size of the fire, and look at the size of you and your beak. What's a drop going to do?" The sparrow responded and said that tomorrow on the day of judgment, if I was to be asked that you seen Ibrahim in that fire, what did you do to stop that from burning him? What did you do? Did you do anything at that time? And the sparrow then responded and replied and said, I want to say on that day that I seen wrong happening. I did not want to be complicit in this wrong. Therefore, I absolved myself from this. What are the governments doing? What are the MPs doing? Those that are speaking out, we applaud them, we stand with them. But those that remain silent, the silence is a sign of complicity. Are they getting backhanders? What's happening? Why is it happening? We need to hold them to account. We can't just come out in numbers and stand here and listen to what I gotta say. We've got to be proactive in lobbying the MPs, going to their offices, writing letters to them, demanding that our rights be heard, our voices be heard. We are the people that are putting them in places of power. If they are not going to represent us the way we want them, then why are we giving them the votes? Why are we always worried about what's the next benefits that we're going to get? What about human life? Whether it's Muslim, whether it's Christian, whether it's Jewish, human life is human life. Islam has always stood on the right side of protecting human life. And here, Palestinian lives are no less than any human life. The Ukrainians that are being killed mercilessly out in Ukraine, as we stand with them, why are we not standing with the Palestinians? For 77 years, Since the Nakba, the catastrophe, what happened? 750,000 were expelled. The largest amount of refugees in the world are who? Palestinians. Nearly 7 million of the world's refugees are who? Palestinians in Jordan, in Lebanon, in Syria, in America, in the United Kingdom. But what are we going to do about it? We're going to stay silent? So remember, like the sparrow said, just that one drop, it may not change, it may not extinguish the fire, but I have absolved myself from the complicity of the crimes of those people against Sayyidina Ibrahim. Today you standing here, you boycotting the goods that are funded by Israeli companies that are then going to fund this war, whether it's weapons, whatever it may be, in whatever shape or form. You are standing against this, and that's you absolving yourself. My friends, Allah will ask us on the day of judgment. The Palestinians were burning. What did you do for them? Did you speak out? Did you say something? If you see something wrong happening on the streets, it's our duty to speak out against this. This is happening on our doorsteps. And you know, media today, what it portrays, it's on a doorstep now. It's a global village. I know what's happening in Australia as I know what's happening in Palestine. Wrong is wrong, full stop. There is no color or creed or race when it comes to injustice and oppression. If you see it, speak out against it, my friend. Don't stand on the wrong side of history. Be from amongst the people who will come together, that one day, inshallah, we will see a free Palestine. We will see a free Palestine. And that's what we want to see. We want to see freedom for those people. I am one of those I consider very privileged that I visited Palestine 19 times. My 20th time will be on the 3rd of September. Every time I've managed to get into Palestine, into the Holy Land, to go and pray there and worship and visit the people. You should spend some of your hard-earned money to go and stand with them in person. Go and see what's happening in Masjid al-Aqsa today. We cry for Jerusalem, or we cry for Palestine in Gaza. Tomorrow Masjid al-Aqsa will come under attack as well. So never ever think that it's over. We must continue to support these people in whatever shape, way and form that we can do. Financially, whatever the brothers have done here today, Arif, Daniel, the brothers, Allah reward them. We must continue to be activists for the right side of history, for the people of that are being oppressed and injustice is taking place. Allah reward you, Allah accept you, may Allah give you khair in this dunya and the akhirah. May Allah Almighty liberate and free the Palestinian people.
Free, 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 free. It is the likes of Imam Asim, a young scholar in the Islamic faith who is a big voice for Palestine. He has been there 19 times. I know I can't go. I'd love to go, but many of you who are not in the front line in activism, we certainly encourage you to visit Palestine and give your hard-earned money to the Palestinian people. They said the only thing we need is for you to visit. So when you visit, they get happy. They know that people on the streets are supporting them. I just want to take this opportunity to send a very clear message for those people that haven't been supporting the protests. This is a message for all faith groups, all Islamic scholars, all faith organizations. You must come out on the streets. We must stay on the streets. We must continue being the voice. Please get involved in the protests. Please come out on the streets. Give a message in your institutions, in your mosques, in your churches, in your synagogues, in your temples, because people of faith, they have a moral responsibility to stand up for the people of Palestine. Our next guest, all the way from Bristol, I'm very proud to say that on Nakba, which is marked on the 15th of May, our next guest took action on Elbit Systems, which is an Israeli weapons manufacturer. We have 3 down and we have 7 to go. And one of those is in Bristol. And Dr. Rahme, who's our next guest, is part of Pal Action, who went there and took direct action. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, please give it up for Pal Action activist, Dr. Rahme, who's also Palestinian.
Assalamu alaikum. There is no future for an entity after it commits genocide. The apartheid, child-killing settler colony of Israel must be dismantled and left in the dustbins of history. On October the 28th, Netanyahu invoked a biblical reference, Amalek. That was all that the world needed to know this is a genocide. On the 27th of March this year, the occupation Supreme Court rejected allowing food, water and aid to the trapped 2.3 million Palestinians in Gaza, half of whom are children, 1.1 million children. And the court invoked a biblical commandment as part of the legal rationale, the commandment to annihilate Amalek. Zionism exists and is maintained through Jewish supremacy. The theology that Jewish people are chosen, that they have a divine right to Palestine, the land that my great-granddad was kicked out of, under the threat of murder to him and his entire family, and that Palestinians or non-Jews are inferior. These aren't just words in scriptures, they're repeated by rabbinic authority. The Jewish supremacy is what the entire entity and organizations that support it in the West are structured to uphold. And this is where our anti-Zionist or anti-supremacist Jewish colleagues and comrades have an important, crucial role to play. To make sure their religion is not used to justify supremacy, violence, discrimination, apartheid and genocide ever again. To make sure the extremist elements in the books of the Torah and Talmud are rejected and relegated to the past. These are not for the practice of today. These uncomfortable truths have been confronted, that have to be confronted. The truth of my people's mass murder cannot be softened to spare others' feelings. Now the most important thing for all of us, we want this genocide to end. How do we do that? Intellectually, we dismantle the ideology of Jewish supremacy, but physically, what do we do? The mass murder we're watching is taking place all the way across the world, but it's being carried out with Western weapons. The drones, the lethal F-35 parts that are shredding children en masse are made all around us. With our taxes, the average working class Brit pays 600 to 900 pounds a year to the weapons industry. The profits don't come back to the public. They go straight to the private shareholders' pockets. The IOF drones that are shooting Palestinian men, women and children in the head, in the chest and in the heart every single day are made all around us. In Britain, all around Europe, Canada, the US. So how do we stop a genocide? We stand with the Palestinian resistance. One of the core principles of Palestinian liberation. We disarm the criminals. We become the extension of the resistance here. We stop those weapons leaving our countries. And we can't do that by pleading with our politicians. It just doesn't make sense to be content with begging Starmer or Lamy when they are the ones that are sending the R1 shadow planes to spy on Gaza every day for 5 hours. And what do? They collect kill targets. So the next day, when you see the massacres, you can sort of understand that those were your taxes that helped that plane fly to get those targets. All of those shredded bodies you see on the floor, British pounds. So we stop the weapons. What do? We stop the weapons. What do? We stop the weapons. Yes. How? We march to the doors of wherever they're being produced as often as we can, and we disrupt them, not at 1 p.m., not on the weekend, before they open their doors and begin making those death machines. That's every British citizen's right and duty. And that's the lowest risk action It's disruption, it's popular dissent. It matches the risk level of our current weekly marches. The ones that we do down the streets to complicit shops and media outlets like the BBC we're outside of. But instead, we go to the arms dealers because that's the most important target. That's the most direct cause of the death we're witnessing. We can ask our local Palestine groups to plan those and target our local weapons manufacturers. We can also demand it. What else can we do? I recently took action with PAL Action at the Filton Bristol branch of Elbit, the occupation's largest weapons manufacturer that makes 85% of the drones. Why do we have that here? Why is Elbit in Britain? Why? And this is just an adjacent step. You know, this is not the next step up from what we're doing. And during our action, I felt the most moral, the most safe, and the most free that I felt in my life. And I owe that to my action buddies and PAL Action themselves. So my bail conditions are not to encourage damage to Elbit or their genocide friends. So, yeah. I'll leave you with this. My friend Ali, who is a doctor in Gaza, wrote this on his Instagram story. He's at ali.ghazandoctor. I'm not writing this to make you feel useless or helpless. I'm writing this to demand more action, a louder voice, and a response that matches the urgency of our suffering. So feel the urgency, take direct action, and stop those weapons. Free, free.
Palestine.
Free, free!
Palestine.
Free, free!
Palestine. Free, free.
Free, free. Right, big massive shout out to Dr. Rahme. I'm gonna say we are, you're gonna say PAL Action. We are all. 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 PAL Action, taking direct action. 3 Elbit system factories done. We have 7 to go. You have your regional one in Shenston, which is approximately 15 miles away. We request and urge you to get involved. We need to shut that down because that factory makes the engines for the drones that kills the people in Palestine. Even today, they were saying it was those quadcopters that were killing the children. So please get involved in the Shenston movement. Our next speaker is a bin worker, a local man who works for Birmingham City Council, who having a few problems, and he will say a few words. Please welcome Steeve.
Palestine. 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 Well, hello, lovely people of Birmingham, and assalamu alaikum to brothers and sisters. So as you all know, the situation in Birmingham with the bin strikes, which is very unfortunate. Back in January, we were told that we were losing money, and that's the reason why we're striking. They told the loaders that they were facing losing between £6,000 to £8,000, which is a lot of money, which is why the city is looking the way it is, unfortunately. The media, as we all know, tried to twist the narrative, saying that we were thugs, that we were violent and things like that. But again, it's people's livelihoods that are being affected, and they're saying that they need to save these millions and millions of pounds. But we know we're not a poor country. We're one of the richest countries in the world. We've definitely got money. We've definitely got money in pots. But unfortunately, they wanna put that money into other avenues like bombs and stop the war. Well, like the sorry, yeah. So basically we know that they've got money, but again, instead of putting money to use for the people, they want to put money into bombs and all these bad things. Realistically, we should have a party of people who are pro-life, not anti-life. But unfortunately, under a Labour government, we thought that it would have been better. But unfortunately, we've from the cold winter payments that they took from the elderly people. I mean, how disgraceful was that? I mean, people who have paid into a system their whole lives to be let down at the end. And I guess it's just like a rapper said back in the 90s, they got money to feed, they got money for wars, but they can't feed the poor. And how, 30 years later, that saying is still very much alive, unfortunately. So, and it's unfortunately those up top who have got the power to actually make good change, they don't want to do that. Instead, they want to make sure that their pockets are fatter. And meanwhile, it's down to the people at the bottom, us, to utilize our voices and to make sure that we're heard, sort of thing. It's absolutely sickening what's happening to the brothers and sisters in Palestine. I truly believe that with the power of the people, we need to converge. And again, we truly hold the power. Without us, those that are in power wouldn't have any power. So utilize your voices and make sure that we are all heard. From the land to the sea, Palestine will be free. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Steve, for coming out. The bin workers of Birmingham, it is about their wages. They've been underpaid. They're going through a struggle with Birmingham City Council. We must stand up for anybody who's facing injustice or oppression. Right, we've got quite a few people here. I want everybody to come in because I have a message. I need to send a message to a community activist, a Palestine, a supporter of Palestine who's done lots of work for Palestine. A message to Muhammed who is not well, who is hospital. We, the people of Birmingham, are wishing you the very best, a speedy recovery. Thank you all that you have done for Palestine. Please get well soon. We look forward to seeing you out again, to be amongst us, to continue being that voice. So everybody, can we give a big shout out to Muhammad Salim? Everybody, a big shout out to Muhammad Salim, who's not well, who's in hospital. We want him to get well, to come out, because he's a massive influence on our movement locally, and we wish him the very best. Please get well. Look forward to seeing you soon, Salim. Thank you. Right, last speaker. Sorry, we've got two speakers, more than we will call it a day. Thank you for staying behind, because every speech matters and there's a message. I'd like to welcome Syed from Pal Action to come forward and say a few words.
Hello, shalom and assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, brothers and sisters. Thank you all for being here. Big thanks to all the organisers for the massive amount of work they put in. Thank you very much. My name's Syed. I'm a proud anti-Zionist member of Palestine Action, the viral direct action network group that dismantles Elbit with our own hands. We demand an arms embargo with Israel right now. My first recollection of the Muslim Holocaust was in 1982. That was in Sabra Shatila in Lebanon. Then the Muslim Holocaust, it went to Bosnia, then Iraq, Afghanistan, then it went back to Iraq and Afghanistan, and now we have a live streamed Holocaust of Palestine, fully sponsored by our country. So today I want to talk about why people join Palestine Action, why I took action against Teledyne Space and Defence in Bradford, because they make components for the military components for the drones, the Hellfire missiles, the surveillance systems, and the F-35s. So the reason I joined Palestine Action, because being British, we have to note that it was our country that created Israel, the rogue apartheid state, in 1917 with the Balfour Declaration. And then, to our country's shame, in 1948, the Israeli terrorist militia were trained and armed by the British military, and the Zionist terrorists committed the Nakba, the catastrophe, the atrocity. Tens of thousands of Palestinians murdered, babies, children, women, men. 750,000 Palestinians were driven out of their homes, fully sponsored by our colonialism. Now, 77 years on, our government is still aiding and abetting the live stream genocide by supplying arms to Israel. But British law is clear. It's illegal for our country to arm a state that's been charged with genocide like Israel has. So for 6 months I signed petitions, I went on marches, I lobbied the MPs, but it was all ignored, despite 80% of great British people wanting a ceasefire and peace. That told me that the democratic process had totally failed, and that in itself is a very powerful defense for me to take direct action to restore democracy. Palestine Action's mantra is not to beg and appeal to the colonial conscience. Why do that when we can go and shut it down ourselves and dare them to come and stop us? I was also inspired by Pal Action's amazing success before I joined. Pal Action have already shut down 3 Elbit sites, 1 in Oldham, 1 in Tamworth, 1 in London. And I'm telling you, those 3 sites will never, ever make weapons for genocide again. Then remember, on the 1st of April 2024, the Israeli terrorists murdered 3 British aid workers, John, James and Jim. Rest in peace, John, James and Jim. Strength and honor to your family, and shame to our disgusting Israeli-led government. So after, on the 1st of April that happened, on the 2nd of April I decided to take action. I can talk about it, guys, nothing to worry about. It was a public trial, it's all printed in the newspapers. It was even printed in the Jerusalem Post. So we've got no problem, no worries to talk about it. On the 2nd of April, we snuck up to Teledyne. We went through their fence with an angle grinder. We scaled their roof with a telescopic ladder. And we broke their roof apart with orange sledgehammers whilst wearing red boiler suits. We told the jury that we broke as many roof tiles as we could, because we knew that every roof tile we smash breaks a link in the military supply chain of weapons to Israel. So we were trialed at Bradford Crown Court. They charged us with criminal damage and trespass. We plead not guilty all the way. We told them it wasn't criminal damage, it was intentional strategic damage to the infrastructure of a business illegally aiding genocide. That's Teledyne Space and Defence in Bradford. They said we trespassed. We said we didn't. We weren't trespassing. We were there preventing a greater crime. We explained to the jury that our actions are not as audacious as they look. For example, if a baby was suffocating in a hot car, we couldn't find the key, 999 won't respond, then I know that everybody in this crowd would take direct action to save that child's life by safely breaking a window and rescuing the child. And that's why we smashed Teledyne's roof, to save children's lives in Gaza. The jury, in the end, they refused to convict us, despite CPS and the judge really wanting the conviction. The judge threw out all our legal defenses. So we appealed to the jury's conscience. We told them not to lose sight on the real culprits, who are Teledyne, Elbit, Keir Starmer. So we got a massive, massively in our favour was a hung jury. I think we had about 9 not guilties, 3 guilties. We'll be on retrial in February on the 9th, can't wait. We're going to wipe the floor with Teledyne again inside court. And I want to make it clear that what we do to Teledyne and Elbit, we have no apology, no regrets, no remorse, no retreat, no surrender. If we want to stop seeing children being murdered and massacred in the streets of Gaza, then we must escalate and take action. Join Palestine Action. PalestineAction.org. Now, we've got a very, very serious situation with the Filton 18. They've been falsely accused of suspected terrorist links. They've been put in jail without a trial, indefinitely. Now, adding suspected T-links is very scary because if they do get convicted, which I doubt they will, but if they do, adding suspected terror links, adding those words can take the sentence to 14 years instead of a few weeks community service. I should wrap up now, yeah? So, thank you. So please follow the Filton 18 on Insta at Free the Filton 18. I'll send details out for the next hearing at the Old Bailey. Please be there. Just a quick call out. Free Palestine! Free Palestine! Shut down Teledyne! Shut down Elbit! Shut down Elbit! And for the Filton 18, Free Pal Action! Free Pal Action! Free them now! Free them now! Free our prisoners! Free our prisoners! Free them all! Free them all! We are all Palestine Action! All Palestine Action! Jazakallah khair.
Thank you. Palestine, free. Once again, the message is we are all Palestine Action. They're doing an absolutely brilliant job. Our last speaker, last but not least, this movement is all about the young, old, ladies, men, old, young, big, small. Our next activist is 13 years of age who has some very powerful words. Brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for our 13-year-old activist.
Okay, hey everyone. So first, let's start this off strong. Free Palestine! Free Palestine! From the river to the sea! From the sea to the river! 1, 2, 3, 4! 5, 6, 7, 8! Okay, so a warm greeting to every single one of you, to the ones standing here for justice, for truth, and for humanity. My name is Syeda, and I'm your typical 13-year-old girl. I go to school, I love football, and I love robotics. I stress about upcoming exams, but now I want you to imagine this. Right now, at this very second, there's another 13-year-old girl in Gaza. She's just like me, but her life has been stolen from her. She doesn't get to play football. She doesn't get to lie awake worrying about silly exams. She's digging her little brother from up under a pile of rubble. She's running for her life because she hears a drone from the distance while I sleep in a warm, cozy bed and I get awake by the sun in my eyes. She sleeps in a shattered shelter, but even some shelters don't even exist anymore. And she knows when she closes her eyes, she might not even wake up. Her home might become her grave. Her best friend? Burned alive. Her cousin imprisoned. She may not be alive today. She's a child and yet she can't even cry. She has no one left to cry to even, and her tears are buried under dust. Her tears are buried under fear. And then I ask, where is the world? Where is the justice they taught me in school? In our classrooms, they teach us about kindness. They teach us about equality. They teach us that truth matters. But how can you teach children like me about justice and truth while the UK government shakes hands with the very people bombing refugee camps? They call it diplomacy. They call it complicated. And let me tell you, genocide is not complicated. Starving children, it's not complicated. Burn babies, it's not complicated. Most mothers picking up limbs of their children, it's not complicated. It's not complex. It's not both sides. It's ethnic cleansing. It's apartheid. It is genocide. And the world here is watching it happen. And worst of all, some of the biggest criminals in this are not just governments. They're not just politicians. They are the people who control the narrative. They are the media. They are the BBC right here where we're standing in front of them today. Shame on you, BBC. Shame on you. How dare you claim to be neutral while only reporting lies? Where are the stories of families shattered in seconds? Where is the reporting on the siege, the starvation, the apartheid? We've seen it all on social media. We've seen the blood. But the BBC pretends it doesn't exist. They're blind, and instead they tell us lies. They erase the dead, pretending their lives never even mattered. Every life has a story. Every life has a story, and they're taking their dreams and their wishes away from them. From children to old, they're taking away their lives. They justify war crimes, and they say, we're just reporting the facts. Hello, this is not facts. This is called genocide, and you're being blind and not seeing what's truly happening. These are lies. These are all lies. You do not report facts. You manufacture public opinion. You defend the oppressor and criminalize the oppressed. Sorry, bear with me. So today, I say it clearly. BBC, you have blood on your hands. Your hands are red. Shame on you, BBC! Shame on the BBC. BBC, you're not a journalist. You are a propagandist. BBC, history will remember your silence, your cowardice, and your betrayal. But even if they lie, we speak truth. We are not silent because we, this generation, we're not afraid. We're not neutral. We are standing on the right side of history. And let me tell you something else. They say you're too young, you don't understand, and you're just a kid. Well, if being a kid means standing for justice, then I hope I never grow up, you know. I really hope I never grow up and be mature. Because mature here, in BBC's opinion now, it means watching genocide in silence. I really hope I don't mature at this rate. And guess what? We are not alone. From Yemen to Lebanon, we hear you and we thank you so much. You've helped Palestine in many ways. You've proven what real solidarity looks like, and not empty statements, action. So let's say it again. Let the world hear us. Let the BBC hear us. Let's shout to Gaza and help every Palestinian child there. And let's help their dreams and their wishes become true. Free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine! From the river to the sea! Justice is not terrorism, and truth is not hate. BBC, you lie. You lie, BBC. Children are here dying. Shame on you! Shame. Thank you, all of you, for resisting. Thank you for not falling silent, and thank you for standing not just for Palestine, but for every human life that's been dehumanized. We will keep speaking and we will keep marching. We will keep resisting, because we are not just a movement. We are a generation, and we will not stop until Palestine is free. Thank you, all of you, for standing on the right side of history. Free, free Palestine!
Free, free Palestine!
From the river to the sea.
Palestine will be free.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Occupation no more.
5, 6, 7, 8.
Israel is a terror state.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you so much, Syeda. 13 years of age, 13 years of age. She is saying there are thousands and thousands of people of her age and younger. And look at the words of this young lady. She's definitely a future leader and definitely a big inspiration to many. So please give it out once again to Syeda. If we had more time, there is a 9-year-old who's got even more powerful words.
Climbing Snowdon to raise money for Palestine.
Okay, there's some ladies here who are doing a walk for Palestine in Snowdonia. The ladies behind who have come all dressed up, but we're going to give a big shout out to the ladies for standing up for Palestine. Ladies, free, free!
Palestine!
Free, free!
Palestine!
From the river to the sea!
Palestine will be free!
From the river to the sea!
Palestine will be free!
Right, there's some upcoming protests outside the factory which supplies F-35 parts in Sheffield. On Tuesday, 17th of June, the coach is leaving Walsall and Birmingham. The National March for Palestine, the 26th, actually convenes on the 21st of June. There will be coaches leaving from Walsall, Dudley and Birmingham. Please get in touch with your respective representatives. Also, we need to support the Filton 18. As Pal Action has said, they've been charged with terrorism. They're at the Old Bailey on Monday, 30th of June. Please do get involved. There is a coach leaving from our region. Just want to say on behalf of the activist independent movement, thank you everybody today for coming out from near and far. You've been absolutely brilliant. You've been fantastic. These pictures have been streamed to Gaza, and we know Gaza is watching, but when they see us on the streets, it gives them hope. It gives them hope because they are saying it is you that are standing up for us, and this is what really counts. Please continue being the voice for Palestine. Please don't stop talking about Palestine. We must keep this going. We must get Palestine liberated in our thousands, in our millions. In our thousands, in our millions. In our millions, in our millions.
We are all Palestinians.
Free, free.
Palestine.
Free, free.
Palestine.
From the river to the sea.
Palestine will be free.
Until next time, God bless. Have a safe journey home. Thank you everybody. Thank you so much for coming out. Thank you.